Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fight Me Bro betting show. This week, we're breaking down UFC Fight Night, Dustin Poirier versus Dan Hangman Hooker, which the UFC bamboozled me here. I've had this card circled on my calendar for a little bit because of Dan Hooker, Dustin Poirier. It seemed like one of those cards that they stacked the main event and the preceding fights would definitely build up to that. They did not do that. They went with their other strategy where they did the Cowboy Cerrone, Conor McGregor. We're going to put a banger at the top, and we don't give a fuck about what else we put on there. Like Mickey Gall versus Mike Perry is co-headlining. Like, that is ridiculous.
Crazy.
On a good card.
What has Mickey Gall even been up to?
Not beating Diego Sanchez. That's what he's been up to.
Yeah,
so we both don't have a lot on our cards. I think, Nick, you're still red hot, right?
Still red hot. I think I actually did split last week because I did get Courtney Casey wrong.
Yeah.
And then I think I had another one wrong in there somewhere. What was the co-main event?
I'm like, did you have Guida? I'm like, no, I had Guida.
No, that was you.
I had Modafferi, both of which losses. But the Guida loss.
Oh, how did that Modafferi fight go? Did she just get worked?
I didn't see it. I think she got worked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the Guida, it was a close fight. So not bad at plus 200. That'll always just make me feel okay if it's a big dog that keeps it close. That's all you got to do. So Clay Guida, you're probably going to get bet on again next fight.
Yeah, that I just remembered. That's why I split it, because I had the Curtis Blades TKO in there. Oh. So I had Courtney Casey, the TKO, the lock being Emmett. So, I mean, you know, if you want to count the prop as a slight against me, go for it. But for the most part, I'm still hot, still riding a hot hand. Although that said, I don't want to make not an excuse guy, but like you were saying, this card is tough. This is a almost impossible card to gamble on because every single fight is just in that. First of all, half the people on this card never heard of before. Second of all, it's one of those where you're all in the minus 250 plus 190 range, which are like the worst. It's not the Curtis Blades minus 400. Drop the number on it. A lot of them are not even a clean minus. I like myself a good clean minus 200. I don't know why. That always looks good to me. Nice 2-1 favorite. Not any of that. It's
185 will get me all day. Minus 185, I'm like very confident.
75 even better.
Yes. 175.
175 is a nice looking line.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very much. Once you get past the 2, though, it's almost like, once you get
start second guessing.
Like, this guy is supposed to win, and it's very hard to be like, fuck, do I like these guys that much? There's something mentally that shifts over after 2 where you're like, I need to be confident this guy is going to win.
It's that much. It's like, should he win by that much? Like that, and that's what makes you nervous. And so on this card, there's none of what we literally just spent the last 30 seconds talking about, which makes it almost impossible to gamble on. And I think we were saying it right before we turned this on. This card has put the stream of the main fight on your phone at the bar written all over it. It's just a complete ignore, but also a can't miss in the main event. And depending on how your feelings of Mike Perry and his newfound key to the city for how do you want to say, like, he's got the key to the city to drop the N-word. Depending on how much you like Mike Perry, the co-main might also be must watch too. But at least the main's a must.
Definitely if Mike Perry wins, the after interview is going to be a must listen to.
What if he says it?
He might, dude. I bet
that would be fucking wild.
Yeah, I wonder. They probably
have a prop out there.
I was gonna say, like, you think I feel like they wouldn't even bleep it in the sense of they wouldn't expect it. Like, they're probably like, okay, he's not actually gonna say it. It's like, no, you have to have your like finger on the bleep button ready at all times. Mike Perry is on camera, so that should be good. I'm excited just to see that his girlfriend. I got it. Like, that's gonna be much. If the UFC was smart, they would put like what I think it was it Johnny Manziel where they put like Lily the Johnny Football cam where there was a separate stream where you can just watch Johnny Football the entire game. They need to do that with his girlfriend.
Yeah, that. I thought you were saying there was a girlfriend. I think they did that with like AJ McCarron with Catherine Webb, I believe.
Yes,
I think cycled through so many Sports Illustrated chicks. They did that when he was in like the national titles. Not the whole time, But she had a spot in there for at least half the game.
No, I want to see the whole time. I would just watch a separate stream of just that. But without further ado, we'll get into our bets. I only have 3 bets. Nick's has 2. So I'm going to get started. My first bet coming in, a couple of my boys, John Vianti and then Maurice, I think the crochet boss. Green.
Crochet boss.
Known as the cross-eyed fuck that lost to Alexei Oleinik via armbar. And, as much as I do like the cross-eyed fuck, I got to go with John Vianti, which I just found out his name's John Piero is his full name. John Piero.
That's the least surprising thing about
Vianti. And it's one word. I didn't even know that was a possible name. But I'm going Vianti here at plus 190. Couple reasons. One, because he's up at heavyweight for this fight. I want to live in a world where John Vianti is now taking this ugly slugfest to heavyweight. That will actually make heavyweight watchable because John Vianti, for some reason, they're a little bit lackluster at 205. At heavyweight, I think it'll be amplified more in the hilarity. He'll be more tired. Yes. The punches will be more telegraphed. And so I want to live in that world, and I want to see a matchup between OSP versus John Vianti at heavyweight.
Yes.
Which would be fucking awesome. Yes. And plus 190, like Maurice Green he's on a 2-fight losing streak, and one is to Alexei Oleinik, which was an ugly loss. So I don't know. I think people see the height number. Maurice Green's like 6'6". He's fucking tall as shit.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
And so everyone's like, oh, big heavyweight 205 coming up. Same kind of thing with Rothwell. But I think Maurice Green's going to punch himself out trying to knock out Vianti, not realizing he has about 6 inches of skull and CTE keeping him from getting knocked out.
Yes, I don't hate that at all. And I'm all here for the OSP, John Vianti at heavyweight. That
hilarity.
That is chef's kiss matchmaking right there. Mm-hmm. Okay, first pick. We're jumping all the way to the co-main event. Forewarning, I'm not going to do it. I thought I was going to do it, but I'm not going to bet on Mickey Gall.
Say it.
Betting on Mickey Gall.
Oh. Okay.
I always get conned into a Mickey Gall submission bet against guys because that's why people are begging you to take the dog Mickey Gall in this fight. It's because it's Mike Perry. He doesn't even have a coach. What the fuck? Mike Perry at this point literally just goes into the gym to hit pads, and that's about it. Like, I don't think he has wrestling partners. I think he probably counts sex with his girlfriend as jiu-jitsu training. Yeah. And so the conventional wisdom would say this is a great dog spot to bet Mickey Gall. The problem with that is I always do that, and I always lose. So what we're going to do instead is take the under. I don't feel like Mike Perry should be a minus 290 favorite, but what I do know is that Mike Perry, for all of his shortcomings, hits really fucking hard. It's about the only thing that he does good, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
I also know that Randy Brown knocked out Mickey Gall. So if he can do it, you better believe Mike Perry can do it.
Yeah.
Plus a fresh Mike Perry. Mickey Gall, I don't think Mickey Gall is going to spend even a second trying to stand. And I think that in the first round and a half, Mike Perry is just naturally strong enough. He doesn't have great enough wrestling, but he's just strong enough. Mickey Gall just doesn't strike me as a guy that's that strong at 170.
No.
People seem to be able to bully him a lot. And so I think Mike Perry's going to be able to throw him off. And I'll just take my chances that because Mike Perry's going in there to swing hooks.
Yeah.
If this is fight night round 2, like, there are no jabs being thrown. The stamina meter is just gonna like chunk down as Mike Perry just button mashes haymaker over and over and over again. At minus 110, if you're gonna tell me that I can get practically even money for Mike Perry to have to hit Mickey Gall, I don't know, maybe twice.
Yeah,
I'll take that. And so that first pick is under in the co-main event.
Damn. Like, the logic sold me there. I am taking the number. Mike Perry, I saw it as high as minus 320 at this point.
Yeah.
I just can't see how Mickey Gall to win this fight needs to grapple and take Mike Perry down and
consistently.
And if he gets close enough to grapple, as you've seen by his striking, Mickey Gall will get hit. And Mike Perry, like you said, hits very fucking hard. And despite everything people say about Mike Perry, he's a fucking good athlete, man. Like, he is hard to take down. He's strong as fuck. He's like naturally gifted in every region except his mentality.
Intelligence.
And they're really, this fight isn't going to take a whole lot. It's not like he's fighting some striker we need to figure him out. Like, Mickey Gall will be there to be hit. and Mike Perry's going to take that. So if he wins this fight, I do see it coming early. I didn't want to take him. I think it's minus 170 for TKO. So I'm just going straight up minus 320.
Take the decision safety.
It's steep, but I just see it happen. And Mike Perry's going to like channel all the rage of these race relations and just like look at Mickey Gall, knock him out and be like, this is for all my bleeps. And then that's where he's going to end up saying it. So, I think Mike Perry, it's just horrible matchup for Mickey Gall. This very much seems
it really is.
This seems like a fuck you to Mickey Gall. I'm not sure exactly what he did, but he did something because there's not many. The only way it gets like I could see him actually winning is if he outboxes Mike Perry consistently for 3 rounds. And
no, I think for him to win, he needs to just like we were saying, he's got to I don't think
he can take him down. I definitely don't think he can outbox him, but I'm saying he would have to outbox him, and we've seen Mickey Gall is unable to do that.
Yeah, I just don't see a world in which like the way I'm envisioning it. If I was forced to envision him winning, is getting into these weird, because Mike Perry does like to clinch. He does like to throw punches there. But Mickey Gall would somehow have to out-muscle Mike Perry in the clinch, which I don't see happening, and then get to that just back body lock and just start working trips until Mike Perry, whether or not he gets him every time, he just do that until Mike Perry gets tired and then proceed game plan from there type of a deal. I do not see a route to him repeatedly, like you said, closing that distance and getting to that point without just getting his head taken off.
He's still so young.
And I like Mickey Gall.
Yeah, he's 6'2".
I'm one of the few people that actually likes him. But
I like his personality. I love his walkout. I love that he just owns being an asshole and not in the way that Mike Perry owns being an asshole, where it's like, oh no, we hate you. It's just he's like a kind of likable asshole. Still very dislikable in his ways. But I don't know. Like we say this a lot. I don't know if he's a UFC talent. Like I don't know if he is like. I think everyone's been kind of judging him on this skewed scale of like, well, he's still so young. This is his 9th pro fight, but like he's kind of been in the UFC for a few years now, and I don't think we've seen very much progression in the areas that we need to see.
I mean, he's not on the worst he got knocked out by Diego. That's the other thing. If Diego Sanchez can knock you out, Mike Perry can knock you out.
Yeah, it's hard to look past that. That's one of those losses that you just can't ignore.
Yeah, I mean it's just tough, man. Like his wins are just not. I mean, Sage Northcutt, CM Punk, Mike Jackson. These are people that are not in. Who the fuck is George Sullivan? Like, no offense to George Sullivan, but like Salim Touari. Oh, those are all the people that Mickey Gall has wins over in the UFC. And it's just, I mean, I get Mike Perry's on a skid, but Mike Perry is significantly better than every single one. Like Mike Perry would have KO'd every single one of those people. And Mickey Gall had some wars with those people.
Yeah, like the Sage Northcutt fight. Like, what were you saying? You kind of cut out there.
I was saying I hate using MMA math, but come on, man.
No, exactly. Like the Sage Northcutt fight, it's very clearly like, okay, Sage wasn't a UFC talent. And like a lot of those names that Mickey Gall has fought are no longer in the UFC or have not been very impressive at all. And Mike Perry's been in, like, he went to a 3-round war with, what's his name?
Ponzinibbio, right?
Was it Ponzinibbio? No, it was Zaleski. No, who was the guy that Wonder Boy just beat?
Vicente Luque?
Vicente Luque. I'm pretty sure he went to a decision with Vicente Luque. Like they just had a fucking war and they duked it out. And it's like Vicente Luque is like a serious competitor. So yeah, I don't think Mickey Gall has he doesn't have a head that looks like it can withstand Mike Perry's punches. It doesn't pass the eye test for me. So I'm taking minus 320. Now on to the locks. I mean, I imagine yours is in the main event. Is it?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. When we had the same lock, we're going. I'm surprised if we don't have the same lock. Dustin Poirier minus 225.
Yes, but I had to think about it a lot. Because here's the thing. I have to like watch it. The one thing, shout out Jack Slack for his casuals guide or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that was the only some of the minimal film that I was able to watch for this card. But Poirier, obviously, the boxing is as clean as it comes in the UFC right now, as far, and just everything from defensive. He does seem to get hit. It's tough. I'm not Freddie Roach, so I can't tell all the time when he looked like he rolled with that or whether you just got clocked in the face. But the one thing is that Dan Hooker, and this is a big thing, this sells me all the time, probably more than it should. And it's not height. I do not care about that really in this fight. The one thing is Dan Hooker has a very diverse shot selection. That really, when Poirier gets to bending at the waist and leaning back and stuff, he's got a very boxing type movement where I don't want to say he has bad footwork because he has really good footwork. That said, when he does defensive maneuvers, I guess I should say, he's doing boxing defensive maneuvers. So he's bending at the waist to duck under punches. Well, Dan Hooker throws that knee right up the pipe all the time. Then Poirier also, when he's leaning back and stuff, he tends to sit on a. You have to. That's just how it's. Stances have pros and cons.
Yeah.
Over his past 2 fights, Dan Hooker has loved that fucking calf kick. And those are effective as shit. So it was really hard, but this is one of those where I got down. Why I landed on Poirier is just the thing with Hooker's hands is Hooker has more shots that he throws, and those will do damage. I think they will score. I don't think this is going to be like a quick fight by any means. But at the end of the day, Poirier's got way more power in his hands for sure. And if they get into boxing range where maybe that knee is might be a little too close for the knee, maybe a little too close for the kick. Poirier's, he's so much better. Like so much better. It's not even fun.
That's where this is one of those, it kind of reminds me of like the Felicia Spencer, Chris Cyborg fight in the sense of like Twitter is trying to convince you of a certain way. I feel like everyone's going to be like, don't sleep on Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker's going to win this fight. Everyone's just coming in being like, the underdog should be the favorite here. And then you take a step back and kind of look at the records and you kind of look at the body of work and just how good Dustin has been. And you're like, I don't think Dan Hooker, very good fighter. I don't think his ceiling's as high as Dustin's, and Dustin's ceiling is showed to be very high. It's like when you see like a souped up Mustang and you're like, damn, he's got all these things put into it. That thing could fucking go fast. But then you're like, but that's a Ferrari. Like, just stop. Like, that Ferrari is like, you can convince yourself that you think all this other cool stuff is going to be like, but one is just kind of in a higher league. And I think what Dustin has shown me in the past 3, 4, 5 fights, this crazy streak he's been on outside of ever since. Yes, even like Khabib didn't look great, but before that, his last loss was to Michael Johnson when she just got clipped. You know, I feel like he's susceptible to get hurt, but outside of that, he's just been outboxing people and just work. Like ever since he kind of learned to control his gas tank better, he's just been all sorts of dangerous. My biggest fear is that the Khabib, you know, we've talked about this before too, about certain losses you just don't get over. And there is an alternate universe where like I can see like Dustin coming back looking completely flat and him just being like, yeah, man, I couldn't get back into it. You know, like these are just, he looked so defeated in that Khabib fight. It's hard to tell like how is he going to bounce back, especially because it's been almost a year now. I think it's been quite a time.
It's September, so yeah, I mean 9 months.
9 months, you know. So which for Dustin, I feel like he's stayed pretty active. And like in his fights before Khabib, I think one of his greatest like strengths with his confidence. He just looks so confident and smooth and calm out there. And I just don't. I'm just hoping that the Khabib fight didn't take that all away from him. We see a more timid, like, or maybe
I'm never gonna be the best.
Yeah, or just like trigger happy in the sense of like I just want to like knock this guy and get out of there. And as we see, like Dan Hooker is very durable. I think he goes in with a game plan. I'm just like, I'm better than this guy, and if I stick to the game plan, I will win. I just hope his mentality is able to kind of stay in that time frame. And I want to see him bounce back because I think there are a few guys that can compete in that top 3, top four ball field. Like there's Tony, Connor, Gaethje, Dustin, and Khabib. So like the top five. I don't think Dan Hooker, as much as if he does beat Dustin, even if he does win, I don't know how he plays. Like I don't necessarily feel confident him versus any one of those other matchups. And I feel like Dustin still has the talent to kind of play in that upper echelon. And Dan Hooker, I think, is just a very good, like, I think he's kind of like a middle. He's obviously these guys are elite fighters, but I think he's like that middle tier that's just at the very, very, very high end of his potential, which like Dustin, I think, is just at that upper tier that actually can win a title. So it'll be interesting nonetheless. I would be surprised if it went early, unless, like you said, like I think if it was to end early, I think it's from Hooker catching him with something, whether it's one of these knees, whether it's, like a leg kick, maybe even a hook. Like Dustin has shown he can get hurt. But I think I'm liking a smooth 5-round decision, Dustin, where we're all kind of reminded like, oh yeah, Dustin Poirier is still very, 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 very good. I think we've all kind of forgotten that.
That said, you did dog Dan Hooker a lot. You got to remember, man, City Kickboxing is on fire. So I wouldn't be surprised if he came out and just looked sharp. It wouldn't surprise. I mean, I'd be surprised in the sense that that's not who I'm picking to win.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised in the sense of like, where did this come from? This is okay. Like what's like when Roxanne Modafferi beat Valentina's sister prior to discovering that Antonina had like literally doesn't understand what wrestling is.
Yeah.
If you would have told me that like Roxanne Modafferi was going to beat or Macy Barber is probably a better example, that Roxanne Modafferi is going to beat Macy Barber, I would have told you that is completely inconceivable.
Yeah.
This is more conceivable to me if Hooker puts together. It just, I don't know what it is. Like you said, he seems like he's kind of getting to the top of his mountain, but at the same time, I feel like if there was a little bit more sharpness to it, he could kind of get over that hump a little bit. And then he'd just break into this whole new, I mean, again, you saw it with like Volkanovski's game seemed
true.
Relatively, it was kind of, he was just moseying on about his business, beating people like the same way all the time. And then next thing you know, the guy puts like a picture perfect game plan together and beats Max Holloway, which I would have told you never would have happened.
Yeah.
So that's a little wild card in this one. I'm super excited to actually watch. Like I'll make sure wherever I'm at, I got this on.
This is a
must watch because this is a great,
like a Tony Gaethje level of fight, or there's some fight matchups that are like, this is it. This is what you want to see.
I'm very intrigued. From all, like, just as a fan that wants to see people fucking ram heads and just box each other's faces off, and also from just, what's Hooker's strategy? Does he just get in there and he's just trying to throw the kitchen sink at him, or does he go with the low calf kick deal? Is Dustin? What does Dustin change in 9 months? Like you said, there's so many questions that I just am excited to have answered, and this one will be good.
It's a good fight when you will be disappointed if it was just a first round finish.
Yeah,
like unless it was like maybe someone went out there and just absolutely put on a clinic in the first round. But if it was going on, they're exchanging and someone gets caught, you'd be like, "Fuck, man, I want to see more." Like I would not be disappointed at all with a decision here, because I just know that'll be 5 rounds of entertainment. So this should be a good one. It is unlike any of the fight. Like none of the fights come close to this on the card.
No.
So I wouldn't be surprised.
The only reason Mike Perry and Mickey Gall is a tune-in is because of the hilarity of the whole situation.
Yeah. And then
there's no other fights that I'm excited to be. Who's going to win this fight?
Are there any like top 10 fighters even on the card?
No. Absolutely not.
That's fucking, again, the UFC, man. I guess they know what they're doing, I guess, and they know the staff.
Dana White out here paying people's rent.
Yeah.
With these.
Exactly. Oh, although fucking Jeff Neal had to go back to being a server. Like, how do you just
Texas
see that
Roadhouse.
shit and not just like?
It's all right.
Dana White should be embarrassed. Like that should be.
Once those Venom sponsorship checks start cashing, Jeff Neal can quit his job again.
Yeah, hop in the Maybach and then
Venom.
drive out of the Outback Steakhouse. But I mean, not ragging on Jeff Neal. You gotta do what you gotta do. But
no, that's bullshit.
Come on, Dana White. You gotta fucking like. Jeff Neal is like an up and comer. Like he's gonna be.
Dude, he's ranked 11. Like he is the 11th. Okay, if you can pull one of these guys from KSW or One or what, the UFC we all agree is the top tier fighting in terms of talent. Jeff Neal is the 11th best person in the planet at his job.
Probably
and
top
he
15.
Needs a second job.
Exactly.
Like what?
In almost any other field, even amateur sports, you could probably still make it as a professional athlete by just on like sponsorships and things alone. But like, oh wait, Dana White, you don't allow for in-fight sponsorships. You don't allow any other stuff. So like Dana White, if I was like, this was a huge opportunity for Dana White to do like a PR stunt and just be, hey, you know what, Jeff Neal, you've been mildly impressive. I'm sorry it had to come to this and people aren't fighting you. Here's $100,000 to get you through these hard times. Fucking pat on the back. Everyone would be like, good for Dana White. I doubt other fighters would be like pissed off. They might be like, hey, where's my 100K?
Where's mine? Yeah.
But they would also be like, Jeff Neal's a good fighter that like, he's just like, he's making as much money as me and I can't beat 99.9999999% in the world at anything. And this guy can. Yeah. And so like, it's crazy that he's that skilled and is still in the position that he is. So shout out Jeff Neal. I mean, props to him for like coming out and actually saying it, because it really does. Everyone's complaining about like the UFC stars not getting paid enough, but then you think about there's a lot of guys in the UFC that aren't eating at all. So
yeah,
those are our picks. Like always, you know, just because we're not watching the fights doesn't mean that we're not betting them. So you tweet us out, DM us, give us any tips you want, and feel free, leave any comments if you think our picks are totally wrong. You can find me at Broliva. You can find Nick at _ a guy and a gi, and you can find us both at Below the Belt MMA. Not to be confused with Below the Belt with Brendan Schaub. Fuck that. We had the name first, and we're not changing it. But until next time, peace out, guys.